Hi, welcome to episode 80 of Coach Barnabas. I'm Corey. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. But I want to come to you today just because this has been, I got to be honest, a few episodes ago I talked to you about what I call evangelism dopamine, which is just kind of getting a rush out of sharing my faith. I mean, there's an easier way to say it. 3 letters, joy. And that's really what I'm just filled with. And the other night, in my sleep, I was dreaming about just the opportunity of being presented with something that would feed my flesh, make me feel good as a person, a temptation, a desire, something that wasn't necessarily right. And then also being presented with, but there's God, and He has something else for me. And I had to choose, basically what would make me feel good, and then choose what would make my Lord feel good, what would make God feel good. And it was a simple decision. It was easy in the sense I just want to please God. I want what He wants for me. The feeling I got was just being filled with joy in pleasing God and making Him happy and denying something that might temporarily give me some certain satisfaction, but ultimately leave me feeling guilty and feeling empty inside or feeling like I've disappointed God. And, maybe you've been there. I know I've been there a bazillion times, and you've made mistakes along the road so many times that it's not worth it. It's not worth it to, for momentary satisfaction, whether it's getting angry at somebody, whether it's feeding your mind and your eyes with something that is not of God, whatever it may be, filling your body with something that doesn't belong there. It could be anything that satisfies your carnal desires, but goes against what God has for you. And I literally in a dream, and I woke up that morning just filled with joy, because even in my subconscious, even while I am sleeping and just kind of quote unquote dead to the world, my spirit was having an interaction with God. In my spirit, my subconscious was responding to God properly. I want to please God. And I literally woke up with just like feeling bulletproof, so to speak, like nothing could ruin my day. And, great things came from it in my interactions with people at my work and being able to bless and encourage them. And I don't work in a Christian environment. I work in a secular environment. And yet God gave me opportunity to literally encourage people biblically, scripturally, with prayer, with whatever. It really has been a phenomenal week in that regard. And I don't anticipate anything different. However, having said that, I talked about it before, about when you are making a difference for God, then the enemy is going to rise up against you. And understand that the gospel truth, the gospel message, the Word of God, speaking about Jesus, that is a disruptor. That is going to create some sort of reaction. Just like in chemistry, if you combine 2 elements, you might get a combustible reaction or something else. And honestly, when you present the Bible, when you present the gospel message in any situation, there is going to be a chemical reaction of sorts. And that may be taking a person, presenting it to somebody, and they tearfully repent, and it causes them to react in a way that they want to make things right with God. On the other hand, presenting the gospel to somebody, telling the gospel truth, standing up for biblical truths, can inspire a completely different reaction, one of hostility, for instance. And so be it. And I know I talk about this a lot, and you may be, watching or listening to this saying, good for you, Corey, you do that, that's your thing. If you get joy or some sort of dopamine hit from doing that kind of thing, you do you. I'm just going to kind of do my thing, and I don't want to disrupt things. I don't want chaos. I don't want people to be angry with me. I don't want people to swear at me. I don't want people to react harshly to me. And I get that. I have been exactly where you are, what you're talking about. But I've come to the place where even my spirit, while I'm sleeping, is just thinking about just denying my personal comfort, my personal wants, desires, and just want to please God. And the word came to me last week, and it just keeps kind of reverberating in my heart, is the word urgency. There's a sense of urgency in the world right now. And when that urgency, when that temperature increases, then the reactions also increase. So you're seeing, in some cases, violence. You're seeing violent protests, or just this week, they hit the news about some Turning Point USA event that was going to take place on a college campus, and protesters, those against Turning Point USA, responded in violence before the event even began. So I'm just talking about, man, there's an urgency in presenting the Bible, the gospel truth, the message of Jesus, of his life, death, and resurrection, and what that all was for, and how the entire Bible was pointing to that event of Jesus' birth, his life, his death, and his resurrection. And just as Christmas is imminent, so is Jesus' return. And it's important for us, those of you who are watching or listening to this, who are of the faith, it is important for us to understand and respond to the urgency of this season. And I'm not talking about Christmas, I'm talking about this season in human history where God's return, Jesus' return, is imminent. It may happen today, it may happen next week, it may happen decades from now. I don't know, but I just believe that in the spectrum of human history that it's imminent. We may see it in our lifetime. We may not. But the point is that if we do, and we keep the message, the truth buried inside of us, and we didn't take the opportunities to share it with people who will die without it, and die without God's forgiveness, and be eternally separated from him and spend eternity where humans were not intended to spend it, man, I don't want that on my hands. I don't want that on my conscience. And God spoke to the prophet Ezekiel and said, if I tell people that they're surely going to die, and you don't warn them that they're surely going to die, and spend eternity separated from God in hell, if you don't tell them that, then that's on you. And God's going to hold us responsible. He's going to hold us accountable for what we didn't do. Now, we often think about the sins of commission, but what about the sins of omission? The things that we didn't do, the things we didn't say, the people we didn't reach when we had the opportunities. So I just want to present that to you with a sense of urgency, but also a sense of joy. That, man, there is nothing like just talking to somebody about the Lord. And even if they respond negatively, maybe if they respond harshly, I know that I stand before the Lord, and he said, that's okay. I told you that people were going to dislike you. They might even hate you, but it's not because of you, it's because of me. That's what Jesus says. He's taken the arrows. You may think you're taking the arrows and, whatever, but it's all for his sake. And he took the nails in his hands and his feet for us. So taking a few arrows, metaphorically speaking, but when you're doing it for the kingdom, when you're doing it for Jesus, you couldn't be partnering with anyone who understands better than Jesus. And so you are in good company, the best company, by virtue of relationships, by virtue of the credibility you've established with people in your sphere of influence, your family, your friends, your coworkers, maybe even people you see in the street, you see it in the grocery store. Who knows? That's between you and the Lord. But you've established some sort of credibility by being a follower of Christ, by demonstrating his values, by demonstrating his commandments, by demonstrating, we talked about the fruit of the Spirit. Even if they don't understand what that is, if you're demonstrating those qualities, people are going to respect you. They're going to admire you. Once you peel back, like Superman opening up his shirt and revealing the S in his suit. Hey, once we pull open, our garment to reveal that we are Christians, people may go, hey, whoa, I don't. Or, people may really ponder that and say, you know what, I've seen something in him that even when people respond in anger, in profanity, in harshness, he turns the other cheek, or he responds not with, the same energy, with the same response, hurling, verbal assaults back at them, but he receives it and just demonstrates grace and humility in response. That's our role. That's what we're to do, is be consistent. And, if you can consider that encouragement, that's my message for you, is be encouraged and understand that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Something custom made to hurt you where you are most vulnerable. And maybe that is what you think other people think of you, your perception, or what you want their perception to be of you. And you don't want to disrupt that. That, if you are paralyzed, if you are frozen in fear because you're afraid people aren't going to like you or respect you, they might make fun of you, they might call you names. If that's your biggest fear, then I pray that God speaks to you, whether you're awake or whether you're asleep, that God speaks to you and say that, I am with you. I am your shield. I am your fortress. And that nothing formed against you will prosper as long as you're dedicated and do everything as unto the Lord. Okay, so let that be a word for you today. God bless you. And thank you again for watching. Be encouraged. Be an encourager. I hope you'll like and subscribe. Maybe even share this with somebody you feel might be inspired by this message, because it's not from me. It's not anything I'm saying, but there is a sense of urgency. This is a season where God is calling us to get off the bench. I'll get off the bench. Get off the bench and do something for Jesus. So do it today. Tell somebody about Jesus today. God bless you. Look forward to talking again very soon. Take care.